I'm Nicola Talent and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. So we have the weigh-in today for Katie Taylor and the Chantelle Cameron fight. 7 years on from the Regency, which we're never talking about. I knew that was a mistake when you said it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that was probably just...
No. I said the Regency trial, but yes, it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. So here, it's a total... I'm never speaking to you again. Oh, by the way, can I... But anyway, so yes, the weigh-in today. But we're just going to have a quick chat about the fight and about the security around it, which is obviously very heavy-handed and in place because of what happened at the weigh-in for the Clash of the Clans event.
Yeah, it just shows you the long-term impact. The role of Daniel Kinahan in boxing took on himself to having boxing has had on Irish boxing that, Katie Taylor.
The spectre of Daniel Kinahan still looms over all of it, doesn't it?
No matter what. It really does.
It really does.
And of course, it's been, really Katie Taylor. Look, there's probably nobody more universally admired in the country than Katie Taylor. I mean, I actually can't think of somebody...
No. She is a national treasure. There's no doubt about it.
Like a genuine national hero, not just because of her incredible sporting achievements, also because of her personality, her genuine humility, her sort of, decency as a person.
She'd make you proud. There's no doubt about it.
So she's back fighting in Ireland, and it's a great thing that people will get to see her. But really, it's only happening now. She has been a victim of Daniel Kinahan's inserting himself into boxing in Ireland.
Yeah.
Because it's only really now that it's happening, and even now that it is happening, the security around it is so much tighter and more heavy.
Yeah.
Than it really should be, I suppose. That's not to say the promoters are doing the wrong thing. They're obviously doing the right thing, taking all the chances. Well, everybody is,
and it's not just the promoters. So Matchroom have flown, and they have people in place all week from the UK, protection officers, high-end, close protection officers, security officers. They've also hired a huge team of security here in Ireland, a lot of ex-military, and they have had meetings earlier in the week with the Gardaí, who have assured them that they will have undercover and overt uniformed officers at both the weigh-in and at the event tomorrow night.
Yeah, which is really uncommon. I mean, it's for them to have uniformed officers would be one thing, but that they have to go to the extent of putting undercover people in place in the weigh-ins and on the night in question, it really wouldn't happen, for example, at a football match, which they would have had to provide officers for. So that's just the reality. That Matchroom are taking it seriously because they have to.
And in a briefing to the large numbers of security officers they have earlier in the week, they described Dublin as a lovely city, but said there was a very real threat. And, around sporting events initially, they said, and then said particularly because of the politics that goes around boxing. Now, politics is one way of putting it. Yeah. It's a very polite way of describing the sort of why there are threats around boxing and why they need all this security. And of course, that Kinahan-Hutch feud is at the centre of it. And, it was, of course, the Hutch organisation, as the judgment at the Regency trial heard, that went in and carried out that attack on...
an attempt to kill Daniel Kinahan directly.
Yeah.
And of course, from what we've always believed is that it was, they may have had other opportunities to get at Daniel other than at this weigh-in, but some of it was driven by, to throw shade on his involvement in boxing, to highlight his involvement in boxing as well.
Which it certainly successfully did.
It did successfully do it. Certainly in this country, it brought it to an end. By default, MTK Global, were they MGM at the time?
They were MGM at the time. It was MGM Clash of the Clans. And the year previous, right, and we had our own undercover people at it. There was a fight in, was it in the Three Arena?
I think it was. Yeah, okay,
it was in
go
the
ahead.
Three Arena, I'm nearly sure. And there was a fight because Anthony Fitzpatrick, is that his name, from around the corner here?
Yeah.
The boxer.
Sorry, Anthony Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald is the boxer.
Yeah.
He was walked up to the ring by Daniel Kinahan that night, and we had some undercover photographers at the event because to see who was there, basically. But in the front row, I remember, was the Byrne family: James Jaws Byrne, Liam Byrne, and probably David Byrne at the time. This would have been 2014, 2015. This event was on, and just a few seats behind them was the monk.
Yeah.
He was seen in the crowd sitting, watching the game, or the fight, they call it, the fight, as well. And also there was Paul Rice. And various other people. I mean, it was kind of like an opportunity, shall we say, for the Sunday World to grab a couple of new pictures for the archives of people. That's what boxing was then.
Yeah, and it had been like that for a while. I mean, when Matthew Macklin had fought in Ireland, the Kinahans had...
Macklin must have been fighting that night, was he?
He probably was. But even back until 2010 and before, when Matthew Macklin fought in Ireland, the Kinahans would buy below the seats and bring in all their clientele and have a big night out.
Corporate event for them, literally. They'd just invite the Limerick gangsters and whoever else. But anyway, back to, I suppose, this what's happening this weekend. The weigh-in is going to be a ticket-only event. Do you know anything about boxing?
I know enough to know that that's not normal.
Is it not?
No.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Is that not normal?
No, I don't think it would be. I mean, look, I'm sure that it's happened before, but they tend to be pretty open events where people they're obviously seeking publicity. At a weigh-in, it's a way to hype up the fight and get a bit of coverage. So it would be uncommon for sure. And
then the press conference, which was held yesterday on Thursday, there was a lot of security personnel around that as well. And again, it was pure invite only, wasn't it? Your credentials and all had to be checked.
It is, and obviously there's former MTK people involved in the on the card.
Sorry, are you going to have a sleep?
No, I'm not. No. Did it look like I'm a bit tired? I was trying to pick my words there and make sure that
I was just wondering, were you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. No. Well, I mean, you're giving me,
No, you said to me before that when you get a bit nervous when you're going on things, that you feel like lying down and having a massive big sleep, like a kind of coma sleep.
You don't make me that nervous, Nicola, or that bored that I'm going to fall asleep.
It's just maybe the heat in here because I've turned off the aircon because it's freezing. And
as you know, I tend to be overheating.
Okay, I'll leave the aircon on again because I am actually, it is stuffy without it.
But no, I'm wide awake and full of energy and.
But
stuff.
sorry, so it's on. We were talking about the press conference and that it was purely the invite only.
Yeah, because there are MTK associated people still involved, not with Katie Taylor, but with some of the other fighters on the card.
Well, with Chantelle Cameron, Jamie Moore is her coach, and he obviously was shot on the grounds of Daniel Kinahan's house.
Yeah.
And that shooting was brought up during the Regency trial. Jonathan Dowdall explained how the Hutches had to pay $200,000 in compensation after that shooting. And obviously what happened afterwards kicked off this feud. But look, it's there's going to be close protection officers around Katie, around Chantelle Cameron, around the promoters Frank Smith and Eddie Hearn. And there was a lot of, during the briefing to the security officers, they put a lot of concentration on the ring and the walk up to the ring. I suppose that's maybe more normal, that there would be a lot of kind of attention put to that. The public, you see, the English security can't work here licensed. No. They're not licensed, so they have to leave it to the Irish ones. To the Three Arena have their own security, and then to the Gardaí aren't going to be checking tickets. But I think they're just going to show a presence tomorrow night. No, I mean, there would be, you'd be right. And I suppose when people walk in a ring, that's a kind of a point of vulnerability as they have to walk through the crowd. It's harder to protect people under those circumstances. And not necessarily even, I mean, I presume just on a general basis, these are celebrities. These are stars, sporting stars. Absolutely. Sometimes you have nutters who want to, make a name for themselves either or get at them. So, look, I suppose despite it all, Jamie Moore has refused to talk about anything to do with Daniel Kinahan. There's been a big effort, I would think, to sort of dampen down any publicity around that. And at the same time, you don't really like bringing it up because it's Katie Taylor's big moment. So there's this kind of conflict going on, isn't there, with this fight?
There is a conflict. And, you know, Katie Taylor, like, you wouldn't want to overshadow her event with these kind of links that are at least a step away at this stage. And you have to say, of course, all of those ex-MTK people and obviously Katie Taylor and all these other people have no involvement in crime. But the association is still there, and it does kind of drag out of it. And in terms of the Kinahan, Daniel Kinahan personally. And so I suppose it is good for the sport that
it's
Katie
like
is
in an
here.
effort to, you know, in an effort to become something in the sport, he sort of poisoned it, didn't he, Daniel Kinahan?
He did. He absolutely did poison it. Certainly in this country, he absolutely poisoned it. You know that, and we're working like it's 7 years on. It's going to take another few years and another few years after that. Even if Daniel is brought back and is before courts and put in prison, who knows? But even if that happens, it's going to be a long time till we get to Irish boxing and we have a whole generation of people that have had no involvement with MTK Global on any level.
See, someone said to me this week that, you know, they were so all-encompassing, they were so huge that it's hard to find somebody that doesn't have a connection to it.
Exactly.
Somewhere, you know.
And obviously people have spoken, other promoters have spoken about not wanting to work with them, but really having no choice because of the absolute massive size that they got to.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to let you kind of go for
I'll have a little 40... No.
Do you ever do those power nap things?
No, I don't really, no.
They're excellent. If you can manage them, if you can train yourself to do them, apparently they're really, really good. I mean, the alternative, of course, is coffee, which we haven't had yet
but
this morning.
that is my my go-to.
Do you remember you gave up coffee and you ended up really, like, exhausted, like narcolepsy practically?
Maybe we should just do a series of embarrassing incidents in my life. Should be top 10 most...
A whole series on them.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast series.
Look, do you remember you gave up the coffee? I couldn't get over you giving up the fucking coffee. Excuse my language.
No, I went into proper withdrawal, you see.
But why did you give it up? Like, why do people feel that they...
Just an effort to improve myself, Nicola.
No.
No.
It's like no enjoyment. Let's all have no enjoyment in life. Did you see who was it talking about... somebody was talking about that they had during... bloody that L word, the lockdown, that they had kind of their big thing was they had started drinking coffee, like
as if they were
piss off.
Yeah. Well,
like, how can we all be holier than thou and give up everything? And we all need our little vices.
We all need our vices,
our little hot whiskies.
And if mine are just
else.
coffee, you're doing okay.
And if yours just coffee, I mean, seriously, like I never want to see you giving that up again.
Well, look, I promise not to.
Thank you. Okay, right.